Hello, and thanks for joining the um, next stream. I'm not sure if this is part 7 or 8. I don't even know if I should number these now, because they're pretty much just every day, 1 or 2 a day. But I just thought I'd pick up where we left off yesterday, which was we now have a form to submit new posts. On the forum, it creates a thread and a post, so we're just going to kind of continue from there. There is one thing that I've added. I haven't done anything else to the application off stream because I said that we would do everything on a stream and record everything. However, the one thing that I've just added now is this unauthorized role environment variable to Hasura, and this is simply specifying what role is the default with every request. So by default, I think when you enable JWT token, it's going to say that you don't have a header token, so we need to specify the default. So here we've just defined the unauthorized role, which is guest, and then that kind of falls into the bucket of all the permissions we have for guest users. So if we have a look inside of here, if someone does go to try and fetch threads, they'll kind of fall into this bracket here. So there'll be a guest and they'll have all of the permissions a guest does for all of our different tables. So one thing we're going to do in this post is we are going to query for all of our threads and we're going to list those on the index page. Now, if we remember from yesterday, we had a really weird thing going on where we kind of had to double parse the JSON here. I've actually, when I got some sleep, I actually managed to figure out what was going on. I just thought I'd check, and when I woke up this morning, I think it's the case. I had a look at the source code for use persisted state. So if we head into here, this create persisted state, this actually does, if it's an object, I believe, stringify it already. So what we are doing is we were kind of stringifying it when it went in. We don't need to do that. We don't need to parse it either, because when you fetch that back, it will do it. And then also in the use effect here, we'll get rid of that. So let's just go ahead and create a new branch for today's feature, which will be index. We'll call it threads index, and then we'll just run npm run dev. We're going to install something. We're going to install SWR, and I'll show you what this is in just a second. So we're going to install this SWR dependency. So to React hooks library for data fetching. It's very lightweight. It doesn't really care how you fetch the data. You pass it a fetcher, and it kind of just uses that to query the data. And it really feels like it's kind of real time, and it's it's like subscription based. You would think you were using GraphQL subscriptions with this, because it's just that cool. But I'll show you all about that in just a sec. So we've got this Hasura user client, and I was also thinking last night is we could probably condense these two. Since this is now a function, we could probably pass in something here like, role, and that could be admin user guest, and then that would depend on the token it uses, or we just say, is admin, and if it is, it won't use this, but it will just spread in the header for the admin. But I like right now it's explicit that there's two different kind of clients, so we'll just leave it as is for the time being anyway. So we'll close this out and we'll head to the index, and I think it's on the index page we need to query for our threads. So why don't we open up Hasura and we'll begin to see the kind of query we need to write. So the one thing we want to do is we want to list out the thread's title with the author, with the last message, the last message author, along with the timestamps and how many posts there are, the category, and whether or not it's locked or answered. So there's quite a lot we need to query. We probably won't get through the design of this video. Let's just focus on getting the basics done for data fetching. So why don't we go ahead and we'll query for the threads, and let's just make a query here to get all the thread IDs. We'll get the thread title, and then I mean, you can open Explorer here, and it makes it a little bit nicer when you're kind of seeing what you need to fetch. So we need to fetch the author's name. When we run this, you'll see it fetches the author name of all of those posts, which is cool. And we haven't had to handle any of the relations here. History just manages that for us. And then if we get posts, now we probably only want to get the last post, right? Because it's going to be a page where it's going to have the title, the author, and then the last post excerpt or something. So why don't we limit that to 1? And we'll order that by created at descendant. Yep. And then we'll get the, what should we get of the messages? We'll get the ID, maybe? ID. We'll get the author name. And we need the messages. And created at, I think, yep. So we've got the post, ID, message, created at, an author. So that's good. We've got the data we need for the index page to some extent. So we've got posts. What else? We need to check to see whether it's answered or not, because eventually we'll show like a little pill, that kind of little badge showing what kind of thread it is. If it's locked, we kind of just want to show some kind of symbol on there. But also we want to get a post aggregate as well, because we do want to see how many posts there are in that thread, so we can kind of show a little counter there. Yeah, so we'll next get the category, I believe. Category name. Do we need the ID? Trying to think, do we need the ID? Probably not. Just kind of visualizes in my head what it's going to look like. So I think we've got pretty much everything we need at this point. Now these aren't in any particular order, so why don't we order this by, how should we order this? We'll order this by how many posts? No, we want to order the threads by I don't know where everything's gone for that query actually. So everything's disappeared. We want to order the posts by the, is it max do we use? Created at descendant. It's removed the created at here. So we don't need the created out of the thread. We want to, I don't know why it's removed the query there. That's a bit weird. Name. We'll get the ID, and we'll get the message. And created at. We'll have a look at this. 1219, 1236. Okay, cool. So that's in descending order. It's descending by the posts. So that's fine. But we only want to get limit of 1, and we want to order by created. Is that right? Created at. We want to order by created at descending. Yeah. So make that look nice. And I don't know why it's removed the other things we just typed here. So we'll get the name of the author of the thread, and then we'll also get the author of the last post, so those could be different. And then we'll kind of just display what we need to on the front end. Now I think that is everything we need. Title, posts. We need the post aggregate. It's removed that again. Aggregate, and this will get the count of how many posts there are in the thread. Okay, so we've got our main query here. Now if we head back to here, it's just going to be a case of importing the GraphQL client and then using get static props we will run that before the page, when the page is built. So we'll import Hasura user client from the lib folder, Hasura user client, and then we'll also do a export const get static props. We'll return an async function that returns props that will be threads. So let's go ahead and fetch those threads now. We'll do const Hasura equals Hasura client to initialize that. I'm sure there's a better way we can be handling this. Hasura user client is this function here. It has to be a function because this needs to kind of, when we log in and we fetch this again, this will work. If this was kind of outside of the function and we didn't return a function but we just returned this, that will never pick this up. And I'm not sure if there's a way we can kind of get around that without using the React Context API, because there'll be times we can use it within context and there'll be times where we can't. Like in here, for example, we couldn't do anything like, Hasura or GraphQL client use auth state or dispatch or something. We couldn't do that because we also want to use it in other places, and you can't run that in there as far as I'm aware. So we'll need to make a call now to Hasura, and we'll destructure the threads that come back, and that will be await Hasura dot request, and then we'll pass in the name of our GraphQL query, and we'll call this get threads. And then up here we'll do get threads equals this, and we'll paste in this query. So that's looking pretty nice. We've got our query here. I'll push all the code so you can kind of see this query in a little bit more detail, but we should see that info on the page next. That's what we'll do. Right, what should we do now? So we're getting the static props for the page. Now it's just a case of displaying that to the page. I'm trying to think if we return this here. We'll just print everything to the page for now, and we'll just see what's going on. See that data comes back. Are we running the server? Yes, we are. We head to localhost 3000, and we should see a JSON of all of our threads, which we do. Awesome. So now it's just a case of iterating through each of these and displaying the thread information. However, because this is statically built, if we go ahead and if this was production, because this page is built, when we create a post and we come back, it won't display it. So we can make use of Next.js's revalidate here, and revalidate, we can just set seconds here. So say after every 1 second has passed, the page is invalidated and a new page will be built on the fly at the CDN, which is just amazing. And that page will just kind of update. However, I think what we're going to run into is an issue where if somebody makes a post and goes straight back to the index, they're not going to see that because that page will have already been built. They'll just be kind of loading it. That's already been, already been served. It's already there. So they're just going to kind of switch back to that in the client without fetching the data again. So why I was thinking we need to install SWR is we need to make a request now. We need to make a request to get this on the client side as well. So the API for this looks fairly simple. You pass in the fetcher to use SWR, and this isn't actually an endpoint. It's just like the key almost. It's just kind of passing that to the fetcher, and then the fetcher knows its arguments to pass in here. So it's kind of, it's got two advantages here. That's the key. So if anybody makes a request for that same thing, it knows to look into SWR. At least I think that's what it does, for an object with the same key. And then it can kind of diff on that and know whether it needs to kind of fetch again or not. And it can obviously update the cache itself. So there's a GraphQL example here. So this is pretty much what we are going to be doing. We have a request from we have an instance called Hasura user client. So let's do something like this. Const data error use SWR. So we will do const and we'll return data for now. And we'll did we await that? No, just use SWR. We'll need to import use SWR from SWR. And then we'll pass in the query to the first argument. And then we need to pass in, well, that first argument is the query, it's not the URL. So in this example here, this is the query. And that is the endpoint, and then it passes the query. So this is the query, which is this here, and that's kind of just passed along to the fetcher, which is cool. So I think if we do we need to, we've got Hasura user client already. So it's just a case of doing Hasura user client.request query, and there's no more we need to pass in there, I don't think. At this point anyway. So if we did data here, this is probably going to error. Yeah, this isn't doing anything. Use SWR, get threads, query, React user request. Do we need to pass this options as well? What options we got? Initial data. Yeah, we'll pass the initial data, which will be our original request here. We'll pass this here. Initial data is not defined. Ah, cool. So we are fetching from the cache. I'm going to say, well, it's going to make another request. And this is what's cool about SWR. I'll focus on my StreamYard window over here. Come back to here, and I think this makes another request. I don't know if I'm doing this right, but SWR will just kind of make a fetch request in the background to check that data is up to date. Another thing I just seen there was revalidate on mount. That's probably going to be important for us later down the line, because if you make a post, and like we discussed, you make a post, you come back to the index, it's going to be like a second delay. We've set the minimum revalidate seconds to. So why don't we tell it to just go and fetch as well when we come back to that page, so we don't have anything weird going on. But this query, it doesn't even appear, it doesn't even seem to me like it's even making a request. So I'm not sure. It may be. It doesn't seem to be. I'm not filtering anything. I thought it would have made a request to Hasura when I came back to the page. That's weird. But anyway, it seems to be working. So maybe it is. Is there? Refresh interval. Let's just set this to 1. Normally I see a request go into GraphQL here. Maybe this is it here. Whatever. It seems to be working. Index page, use SWR, pass in the query. Well, it's our query, but it's our key. There's no variable. We pass it along here. It gets the data because we can see the data. And then voila, should work. Okay, so I think it's working anyway. We'll, I'm sure we'll come across any problems when there are any. So I think what we'll do next is we will create a component for the threads, and it's going to be a thread list, right? So we'll say threads is equal to data.threads because that's what's here and it's an array. Let's go ahead and import a component we haven't created yet, but we will. And then we'll create this in here. I kind of create my file names with uppercase letters. I have recently started using lowercase names, but I've kind of gone back to this here for component names. I don't know why. I just have. We'll import, let's just make this super simple. See, I was about to type it with a lowercase there. And we'll do const thread. We can do default export. What have we done? Have we used functions? Yeah, we've used a function here, so we'll stick to the same here. We'll do thread, and this is thread list, isn't it? Yeah. So we will return if there are no threads. If there's nothing being passed for threads, then we'll just return null. Maybe later we can display a nice message that says, no threads. Go post. Thread list will be our component, and we will return we're going to map through. Let's do div class name py6 mdpy12 just to give it plenty of space for now. We'll come back and we'll make this look nice, and then we'll map through each of those threads and we will render the thread component. I'm just going to copy this and we'll go ahead and write thread for that as well. So yeah, I think now it's going to be a case of displaying all of that information we've got on the index in the thread. So we're going to get, let's open up index, what we got. We've got ID and title. So let's just get this going. ID, title. Now here's the thing. I'm not sure semantically. I would like for the whole thing to be a link and we can click on it through, but that's probably not semantically correct. So we'll just make it a div for now. And I think with Tailwind, if we just pop over to the Tailwind docs, not Tailwind UI, Tailwind CSS, I think they've got a divide style now. So between the things, we could just add a simple divider. Div y2. And we'll just do div. Do we have to add a number? Divide y. Yeah. And that should just add a line between each of the things for us. So thread. We'll get rid of this, and we will just return. We'll give it some padding of 6. Should we do 6? Yeah. I added that to the wrong class. Then why don't we just do h3 title, and we'll give this a key of ID as well. And that's not how you write a function, Jamie. And we save this, we go back here, refresh. I've done the same again. I'm used to writing functions, arrow functions. Sweet. So we've got all of our threads now. So these are our threads. And we kind of want to show an avatar, the title, the last message, the time it was created, and whatnot. So why don't we do that now? Let's have a look. Thread. We'll just make this look a bit nicer for now. Just kind of give it some structure for us while we are kind of putting this thing together. 2XL is probably going to be a little big. We'll just do 2XL and we'll do font semi-bold. That'll do for now. We can come back and make this look a little bit prettier later. Right. What else are we going to need? We need the author, right? We want to display the author. Should we just get we'll just get the data in. So what have we got? We got the posts created at. That's what we kind of need to show in there as well. I'm reluctant to show the message at the moment because I'm thinking about changing what we did yesterday on the ask page. This just kind of takes in text area. It just kind of takes in the text and adds it. There's no real formatting. I was looking at React MDE, which is a markdown editor, similar to what you see on GitHub. I'm thinking about adding this, and then it makes it a bit nicer. So we'll probably revisit that over the next few days and add that in, and make it look a bit nicer. So why don't we go ahead now and we will get the last post from posts. So we'll just do const last post from posts. So that will get us that, and name the first thing, the only thing really in the array, in the post array here, and we've limited it to 1. There will always be 1, because that's what we've done. And then it's just going to be a case of, I think, kind of want to show, like, I don't know, time ago or something. Like the time ago this was created, perhaps. So we could do const time ago equals, and here is where we are going to need to use a library. I'm going to pick date fns here, and we'll pick probably, I've used it before, we'll use time ago, what was it, format relative, represent the date in words relative to the given base date. So last Sunday, yesterday, today, tomorrow, date. Okay. Yep, so we'll install datefns now. And we'll have to pass, won't we? You'll have to do date. We'll have to pass the date. We'll have to pass the date from there. And we'll import. What should we do? Should we import format relative from date fns? Oh, format relative. Yeah, let's just do that. So this is going to be, we need to provide it the base date was the first argument. Was that right? Yeah. No, the date now. Well, yes. The date of the post and the date today. Yeah. So up here we'll just do const today equals new date, and then in here we'll do date.parse last post dot created at, and today will be that, and then the options will pass in. Do we need any options? Locale, we're not dealing with locales. Week starts on optional, default is 0. 0 is Sunday. We'll say the week date for us. Week starts on 1. That will be the week is Monday. And then why don't we just put some paragraph text here and say, what could we type? Hello, if you've just joined. I see there's a few people watching now. Hello. We are building a form script for some form software with Next.js and GraphQL. We are just having fun, and I'm pretty much recording every day. I'm working on this, kind of 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour here, an hour there, and we'll just kind of blog the process. Right. So what we want to do is we want to display the name. So we'll do last post dot author. There's always going to be an author, right? Dot name. And here's the thing. The last post. So this is going to say like Jamie posted it on whatever, whatever date. But what we may want to do is check to see whether it has replies or not, because if it hasn't got replies, then it was created by me, the author. So maybe I want to say Jamie posted whatever, and if there is replies, then it will say, the last post author replied. So we'll probably just have to do like, I don't know, has replies. If I could spell has replies. If it does, the word will be replied, else it will be posted. And then we have the category, so we could do category dot name, and then just the time ago after then. I think that will be fine. So we'll need to define this has replies. Const has replies equals posts dot length greater than 1, and that should get us to where we need to be. Do we want to count? We have the count, don't we? Yeah, we'll use the count just because. Aggregate count. Are we going to use the count again? Yes, we are. So we'll do count equals the aggregate, and then we'll say this is count, and then we need to get category as well. Oh, sweet. Okay, cool. So we got the title, and then I'm guessing we don't have any replies. Let's go and fix that. How should we fix this? Data. Let's pick hello. We've got a few hello worlds. We'll just pick one of the hello world threads, and we'll create a new post. So we'll pick this ID here, for example. We'll create a new post, and we'll say the thread ID is this, and the user ID. We don't have that user ID. Can I add this? No. We'll open users, and we'll get the user ID, and we'll just say hello world again. Users, we'll get this user here. So it's going to be me again. It's fine. Author ID is, and we'll save that. Now if we go back to here, one of these hello worlds is going to say that. So Jamie Barton replied in general today at 11:21 p.m. Now, if you'll notice, this wasn't at the top before, but because this is ordered by the post aggregate created at descending, it's going to order these threads here based on what the recent post was, which is cool. And I think what we'll do is we'll we'll display the avatar on the left at some point for the author, and then we'll display the avatar for the user here as well, and we'll make it look a bit nicer. So I'm not sure if there's anything more we need to do. I know we want to display the locked and answered badges, but maybe we can go and create some components later just to drop in there, because those will be used elsewhere. So why don't we now, first of all, just kind of make this a link. Yeah, why don't we just make this hello world a link for now. Yeah. Could just have the link in here for now. We'll probably, well, not probably, we will just redefine how all this works later. So I always get confused with next routes. Is it link or as or whatever? I always forget. So link, like, has as got the brackets in, or has href got the brackets in? I always get confused. So I think href is the actual URL. Dynamic. Hello. What? It might just be this now. It might just be this. As optional decorator for the pass. Before Next 5.3, this was used for dynamic routes. So we don't need to pass as anymore. Great, because I always used to get confused. Well, not confused, just used to forget. So we'll say the path will be /thread/ ID, and then we'll pass in the link here. And then we'll import link from next link. And if we refresh, I don't know why it's not updating, but we get hello world, and you can see in the bottom of the browser that it's going to this endpoint. So that's hooked up, which is cool. So I know this is not looking very pretty right now, but we will get there. I don't know if Tailwind, does Tailwind give us anything for an avatar? I wonder if Tailwind UI does. Let's just open this on another screen. Yeah, it does. I don't know if I should paste this on the stream. I don't know if you're allowed to do that with the license. Whatever. So yeah, we're going to need to display this div is probably going to be flex, and it's going to be item start, that's fine. And then we'll create a div here, and then we'll create another div for our content, and we'll say this is flex 1, and we'll put this here. I don't know why it's not hot reloading. I'm just going to restart the server because it's not liking something. Okay, so we've got a bit of space in there, and we've got a little avatar icon. It's nothing amazing. I actually don't like this background color. App.main. We'll just say the background's white for now. Yeah, so we'll sort that alignment out in a bit. Then for this, where we have the avatar, let's do the same here. So we'll just move this into a div. And we'll say this is class name flex, inline flex. And we'll say space x is 3. And then we'll place this in a span. Oops. Place this in a span, and then we'll just copy that avatar down from above. And we'll probably make this a little bit smaller. So the height will be, let's go 5 here, and we'll go 8 here. And then we'll do items center. And we'll refresh. Sweet. So eventually we're going to show the message below here. So that's going to be fine. It'll be a more spaced out. But for now, we will just leave it as this. This is the link to the thread. Click on it and it goes to that thread. And we've got the whether or not it's replied or not. And what topic it was. Now, we probably want to make category pages at some point, so we could also make this a link, and then you can go to that category from here. I'm not 100% sure there. Yeah, let's do it. I think this has to be in A tags as well, right? So let's copy that. And in category name, that will be here. Refresh. Just lost the space in there. Just do span class name ml1. This will be category.id. I don't know if did we query for category ID? We didn't. So if we refresh this, it'll probably complain we don't have ID. I know, sorry, it'll just be undefined. So we'll just click ID and add that in there for the URL. Okay, cool, fine. So this is the thread title. We click on that, it goes to thread. But if we click on the index, the category name, it will go to the category page, and we'll build those out over the next few days. So this is our index page. We'll probably add pagination at some point as well. But for now, it's looking pretty good. We'll get rid of this. And we'll probably just create a heading component at some point. But yeah, we can log out. We still get the threads here, and that still works. And we can register for an account. We'll just use a different email, and we'll click create account. Takes us straight to the index page, and that runs the query. Now there is one thing I wanted to check with use SWR, and that is it's working, because at the beginning we were having some troubles with that. So why don't we pick we'll pick this one here, hello world. Thread ID is this here, and we'll just edit that here. Now what should happen is if I do hello world, and I save this, and without touching anything apart from clicking back into here, that should update. But it doesn't. And it wasn't doing this before. I wonder if it's something to do with the function we have. So it's got hello world there now, but that shouldn't happen. It should just run. It should just run automatically. So this initial data revalidate on mount, it seems to me that SWR isn't doing anything at all. It's running once, but it's not doing what it should be doing. I don't think it's a local issue, like because we're developing locally, that is happening. So return the initial data. Let's just return a button. That on click calls revalidate. Just to check that it is working. I don't know why that isn't working. We'll click revalidate. It's not doing anything whatsoever. This is very frustrating. Now I don't know if it's got anything to do with the way we are handling the Azure user client. I can't see that it will. It's okay. There we go. Azure user client. We have to do this. We're not calling the function, are we? So Azure.request. Let's get rid of revalidate and remove this button altogether. Now if we do hello world, hello, and save it, and then go back to here, there we go. This is what should be happening. I've updated the database, and when all we did was focus on the window again, and it rehydrated the page with the fresh data. So here I have hello world. This was the previous value. I click save, and this will update in the background eventually. I think it's every 30 seconds or so. But if we focus the window, there we go. It's updated that, and that's the effect we wanted. This feels very real time. We're not doing anything. We could set an interval here to just keep polling. But when we focus back to here and we navigate around the site, it's going to So let's try this out. Actually, we'll go to localhost 3000 in one window. This is the index, and we'll go to ask a question, and then we'll go and ask a question. And we'll say, hello, SWR. How's it going? Post. I've posted this. It's going to go to the thread that doesn't exist. Come back here, and then we'll go, hello, SWR. So that's pretty sweet. Great. So I think that's all we've got time for today. I'm pretty pleased with how that's working. I have just noticed on the ask page, when it's successful, it goes to /threads. Let's just make this /thread. I know it's not very RESTful, but we've called category, so we'll just keep it singular for now. Yeah, pretty pleased with this. Using SWR to fetch our data and revalidate on the page the data that is has been updated. We've got the basic components going for the index page now. The next thing, if we have a look in GitHub, we'll just commit this. Feat basic thread list. And it's still doing this. We'll create a pull request. I can't remember what pull request we had for this. What issue we needed to close. Create index of threads. So there's some things we haven't done, like we've got the post count queried, but we're not displaying it. We're not truncating the last post yet. We'll probably do that when we get to the design part. And we've got the datetime of the last post relative to today. And then we've got the thread author as well. It's not the author's avatar because we don't have anything to do with avatars yet. We'll have to figure out what we're going to do there. But let's just go ahead and create a pull request now. And this is for issue 8. And we will we'll just say closes 8, and we'll submit that PR. And if we view the PR, you should see that Vercel will take care of that deployment. And in a few seconds, we'll have a preview live on the preview URL. So we'll just wait a second. And it literally only takes 30 seconds. So we should see this in our staging preview environment. So we're making good progress. There we go. It's now deployed. And we can see here we have this all going on. So yeah, please don't abuse this because we'll be recording in the next video. So this is where we're at. I'll pick up again tomorrow and we'll probably get on to showing the thread pages. Maybe the category pages as well. But we've got an index now that is showing all of our threads. So I'm going to go ahead and merge that. And we'll have a look at the issues. And yeah, we'll create the individual thread page tomorrow, which includes the ability to reply to threads, view the message, and view the timestamp of all of the messages in there and the author name and what have you. So it's looking good. We're making good progress. So yeah, I'm going to stop the video. If you've got any questions or if you want to join the stream and hang out, please let me know. And we can hack on something cool. All right, happy coding. Enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are. And I'll be back streaming tomorrow.